What is up, Retromaniacs? My name is Mike. His name is Joe. I think his name is EP. And we're here to talk about cards. This week, our old buddy Joe, that guy I pointed to over there, he's going to give us 5 things that he thinks will not age well in the hobby. EP and I are going to discuss whether we agree with them or not. Joe, kick it off.
Very excited for this because I think all of these things in like
Of course,
5
it's
or
the
10
Joe
years.
Day Show.
Joe Day Show. We're going to be looking back at this stuff and say, what in the world were we doing? All right.
Okay.
Number 1, agree or disagree. Tell me why. We are going to look back and regret grading base cards, ultra modern base cards.
Go ahead, EP.
I disagree. I mean, you're talking about rookie cards. Like, with Joe Burrow rookie card, like, I think people are still going to want that. People are still going to want to. I mean, the bottom line is when you get a card graded, it is still you're trying to say I have the best card, the best version of this card. I want it in my collection, especially like rookie cards, even the low end stuff. If you and even if you're looking at it from a monetary thing, if you can take a $5 card and turn it into a $30 card or a $50 card, like that is also a good thing. Like all 3 of us sold in Tom Brady SPX. From 2002, which was his third year card or whatever. We all sold one of those in a high grade from PSA.
Now, I did say ultra modern. So what would be considered right now ultra modern?
Right. But I mean, 40 years from now, these will be vintage in 40 years from now. So will anybody want a PSA 10 of a vintage card 40 years from now?
Good question.
Mike, your thoughts?
Well, I hate to do it, but Joe, I'm going to agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gross.
I know it feels yucky, but that's why I have the green background this week because I'm feeling a little nauseous. But yeah, I think you're right. Just because of the large quantities that people have graded base, like they're junk. Like what the difference between EP's example is there aren't all that many 10s of the Tom Brady SPX card, where in 20 years they're going to be tens of thousands of 10s, and like look at Zion Williamson. What is his Prism
That's the example
base
I
up
was
to
thinking
right
of
now?
too,
So yeah, crazy, like the number of cards that are graded. I really don't think a 10 will even hold much value over what it costs to grade for most cards. Like most of them may not be worth what they were cost to grade. So I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah, got you on one. Okay. The second thing I don't think is going to age well when we look back in 5 or 10 years, using one of the non-top 4 grading companies. Now, the top 4, PSA, in no particular order, PSA, BGS, SGC, and of course, CSG/CGC. They've all been around for a long time. I know CSG technically hasn't, but CGC has been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Beckett's been around since the 90s. SGC and PSA, obviously, have all been around since the late 90s, early 2000s. I think anyone who's grading with any of these, even some of them like Tag that look nice, they're grading with these this next tier of grading companies. And I don't think when you look back in 5 to 10 years, as much as I'd love to see some of the grading companies lose some of their juice, I think any of the cards you have slabbed in those grading company slabs you're going to really regret it in 10 years.
Let me take this one, EP.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's right again. Doesn't feel good, but yeah. I mean, I talk a lot about you never know, things could change, right? But if somebody were to outdo PSA, I think it would come from the current group of 4. I don't see it happening for a long time, but yeah, I like all these little off brands. I am interested in tag grading. Like I think their process looks pretty cool. I would like to do that, but then I think, but why? What am I'm just doing it to do it. I'm not going to add any value. Unfortunately, right now, if you want to add value to your card, you have to send it to PSA. Like, it's why we all keep sending to PSA regardless of what they do, because the market is saying that's what they want. And if you're selling cards and you're not sending to PSA, you're losing money. So, yeah, I don't see any new company, like talked about it before, people don't care about accuracy. So even if there is a grading company that could 100% grade cards consistently and correctly, people wouldn't care. So,
and it could make it worse. It could make their company look worse because people don't
probably
want
would.
accuracy. They want tens.
They want
What do you
10s,
think, EP?
I also agree with you, Joe. I think there. I mean, the thing is, I think there's. I know, it's really, 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 really rough. But I do think like I like competition. I think it's important, and I do. Eventually, PSA probably will be unseated by somebody, probably by the Big Four, possibly by Tag. But I feel like if that's going to happen from somebody outside the top four, that company hasn't started yet because they're going to come up with something totally new, totally. Like, everybody's going to be on board right away with it. Like if it's not, these are the other ones that are kind of like, look at us too, kind of. I don't think they really have a chance of really being able to break into that top four.
I have an
let alone
idea.
be number one. Go ahead.
10
Are we starting a
grading.
grading
10
grading.
grading. We're just going to give out 10s.
All 10s.
I feel like that would be the way to compete with PSA. Just saying, throwing that out.
10 grading.
Right.
And people would love it, man. They would scarf that up.
We could make the 10 like really big on it too.
Right.
People would be
even
like,
bigger
wow.
than the card.
MRTC 10. MRTC 10.
We could even.
MRTC 10.
Why don't we make the slab die cut in the shape of a 10 and put the card?
Boom.
Somehow.
There it is.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love it.
This is all trademarked information. Don't try to steal it from us. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll
We
cut that
gotta
out.
we gotta trademark all of this stuff before we drop this on Wednesday. All right. Thank you for agreeing with me, both of you. I appreciate it. It makes me feel
Don't
good.
like it. Does not feel
All right. Next one. We put such a premium on memorabilia cards that aren't actually memorabilia cards. I think in 5-10 years, that's going to age really badly. People paying so much money for an RPA that when you flip the card over on the back, it says no association to any player or event. What do you think, EP?
I kind of disagree on this one. As much listen, I want mem cards that matter. I would love mem cards that are associated with the player, but I think most people now, and those people that are going to be buying cards 40 years from now, don't care about that. They want a cool looking card that's got a really awesome patch of a lightning bolt on it, with a Justin Herbert card with a lightning bolt on it, or Joe Burrow with the Bengals B on it, or something like that. I think that people would care more about how a card looks than that the player wore it at any point.
Yeah, kind of think I agree with EP on this one. Now we're all retro card guys.
Mhm.
We love our game use stuff, but honestly, like having the shop back in the day, I saw the prices start up here and then they just dropped of actual game use stuff, and like the value of it really wasn't worth anything anyway. So I don't know that that's ever going to come back. We talk about ways to try to do that, but like really at the end of the day, I don't know that the market now really cares about that. Like we're old. We remember that stuff nostalgically. A lot of the newer collectors, they like EP said, a cool looking card. Like if you're a Joe Burrow collector, if you have a card of his with an autograph and a cool patch from the Bengals, I feel like most of the newer collectors don't care that he has no association to it. It just looks really cool. So, yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, Joe. It feels better to disagree, but then I'm agreeing with EP. So, this is
Right.
really, I don't like how this game goes. Yeah.
To be clear, I would prefer the game used. I don't know if I said that when I was talking, but I would prefer game used. Like that's
we all would, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
But I think a lot of the newer collectors and probably a majority of the collectors probably don't. We're dinosaurs. So,
it's probably true. And I think for me, it's more, I'm sad that that's probably true.
Right. Yeah.
People like look at the card. Oh, look at this patch. It's awesome. And they flip it over and say, oh, it kind of sucks. It has no, association. And then they put it on eBay for like $10,000 and someone buys it, like it's very frustrating.
Well, it's kind of like a lot of the newer collectors haven't known anything different though. So like we have the memory of, oh, that used to be a real patch and now you're not giving it to us. But a lot of the newer collectors don't have that. So they don't care because they can't miss something they never had in the first place.
Because if they have that Bengals logo on it or whatever. Yeah.
Right. we have memories of cards where we flip it over. It was from like a playoff game. Like it would tell you what game it was
It
from.
would tell
know
you
what I
what
mean? Like,
game it was from.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. That's holding a piece of the hobby right there. It's holding a piece of that player, like, so different
Yeah.
for us.
So number 4, this is actually something we talked about on the pod this week a little bit. I think something else that's not going to age well, buying high-end unlicensed products. We talked about Panini with the baseball. They're losing the MLB PA license. But even before then, they're making National Treasures. They're making Flawless. Very, very expensive high-end products of current players now, but still no association to MLB, no logos. The patches, they can't show any of the logos on the patches. And they're going to probably start making basketball and football that way at some point as well. So I think putting a lot of money into high-end licensed products, and people do it, are going to look back in 5 and 10 years and go, what was I thinking? Why did I put that much money into a case of Flawless baseball from 2022 with no association to Major League Baseball? What do you think, Mike?
You're definitely right on that one. I'll take it a step further. I don't even think licensed product will be like Dan the Card Man had a cool video out this week about something we've talked about a lot about serial number cards and like not having value in the future like people are going to think. Like we've talked about this a lot. How many times can you put out a numbered card, a numbered autograph of any player? Like every year, say you have a card numbered to 10, a gold card with an autograph of it, but the same player year after year after year. You don't have 10 anymore. All of a sudden you have 100 because you did 10 for 10 years.
Right.
10, 20 years from now, when somebody wants that player in a gold 10, they don't have 10 to choose from. They have 100 to choose from. So they're not like people can't get out of today that, oh, well, I have to collect all these different I need the rainbow. I have to get every year. Like the value that is established long term comes from people down the line. What are they going to want to pay money for going back? That's why like precious metal gems from our era are worth more, because you don't have multiple levels of that insert. You have one. If you want a PMG, guess what? You have to buy that certain set of cards. You don't have all the other ones to choose from. And, other than the rookies that are coming in, if you're collecting rookies, like all the Hall of Fame players and the star players, you're just adding to the inventory every year. So not just unlicensed, which is even a more limited scope. You have to have those Hall of Fame players, but you're putting the same ones out every year after every year. And, just in general, I don't think any of that stuff will hold up long term.
Yeah, I agree with both of you 100%. There are a lot of people who like the Wander Franco rookie card, a rated rookie of without his logos. I mean, sure. I mean, in optic and stuff. And there are people that are very into those cards, but I mean, the bottom line is once Fanatics takes over completely, it's not they're not going to have anything really. It's going to be really tough to put together sets of anything of note. Like you guys said, you can't put a patch a patch for say like a Tom Brady card, a Patriots patch on a Tom Brady card, even though he's retired, because you can't use the logo.
Right.
So I mean, that's I'm not a big fan of like Mike said, of any high end stuff. I think the really high end stuff is just way too overpriced for what you get, and let alone the unlicensed stuff.
And Mike, you actually touched on one that I was going to do as like a bonus, but I think people are going to look back in 10 years and say, why did I collect a rainbow of a player who I never PC'd before, but I just happened to pull their 1-of-1 or their 3-of-3 or whatever. And now I feel the need to collect the rainbow of some random player that's on my PC. Because there are so many cards you have to collect now, and Panini knows it. They encourage it. Topps does the same thing. They encourage people to collect the rainbow, and they keep releasing animal skin and stripe this.
Keep making the rainbow bigger.
Right, exactly. They keep making the rainbow bigger.
And people have a lot of fun doing that. And I'm not saying that is a fun way to collect. We've all kind of done it, but you have to also stop and realize, if you're thinking value wise in the future, people aren't going to collect the same now. Like, again, we've been doing this since like I've been collecting cards since the 70s. You know, I've seen what got popular and then what wasn't popular anymore many times. You guys have too. So like, just because here and now people are collecting that doesn't mean 20 years from now people are going to want the same thing. And like there are so many different cards now.
Yeah,
It's crazy. And I don't mind collecting rainbows either. Like I'm kind of working on the Merino Picket one, very limited. You know, there's I think 5 of them or so. But my issue is for these people who are collecting rainbows with no association to that player, they have like no interest in the player, but they just happen to pull one of his cards. I see that way more often than
it does
on hobby Twitter. Someone pulls out 101, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to collect the rainbow now," but you don't like that player. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can say this for pretty much all of our content. Like, you know, collect what you want to collect. Like, do what you want to do in the hobby, but understand that like the value is not going to be there for a lot of like if you don't think that you because you have this rainbow now of this player that it's going to be worth anything, like even a penny. You know,
there's
like,
nothing wrong with collecting however you want to.
Yes,
just don't assume that is going to hold whatever value in the future.
Right. And
exactly.
if you have the money
collect
to spend
because you enjoy it, not because you think it's going to be worth money.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. The thing I think is going to age the worst. And Mike, you and I have already disagreed on this, so it's going to be interesting. I think people are going to look back in 5 to 10 years and really smack themselves in the head on collecting and paying a premium in some cases, sticker autograph cards. I've been getting out of it. The cards up here that are autographed from Kenny, they're all on card. Fanatics has come out and say we want the players to actually be touching cards and autographing cards. I think we're going to try and get further and further away from stickers as Panini loses the licenses. And I prefer and would pay a premium for an on-card autograph, but in some cases, the sticker autographs in certain sets are actually worth more. So 5 to 10 years, people are going to look back and it was not going to age well, spending a premium and paying for on sticker autograph cards.
Have at it, EP.
I disagree. I like it's not. I'm not like all in. Like I prefer an on-card autograph myself, but again, I think this is one of those things where I think people are more okay with it. The current collectors are more okay with it, and also I've seen several cards where the sticker auto doesn't look bad. Like they kind of like either the place where they put the sticker is kind of made just to fit the sticker and stuff like that, so it looks like it belongs there, kind of. And I like, so I prefer on-card autos for sure. The Bowman that I opened, they were all on a card. It was awesome. But I mean,
you got Drew Jones out of that, right?
I did get a Drew Jones out of that. Yes,
I didn't hear that.
But I like it doesn't. What if I see a sticker? I'm not like, oh, this is terrible. This doesn't even for me as an old school collector, it doesn't bother me as much as it probably used to.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like I do feel like the collectors are just used to it now, and I know a lot of people don't care. I've seen that on Twitter. I don't know. I mean, there is a caveat here. I will say, Joe, like you're saying, if Fanatics will get on card for 90% of their product, 80%, whatever it would take, that could change. So, like, just because the hobby now is okay with it, maybe if they're shown a different way, maybe if Fanatics is successful in getting on card autos for most of their stuff, does it for a period of 5 years, then maybe people will look and go, yeah, but that one has a sticker on it. Like I could totally see that. So like, I think you could be right if that happens, but I feel like if things don't change from like what you are right now, I don't think it matters. There are some situations like, older former players and stuff, having that whole sheet of stickers, like for somebody who may have passed away, is kind of cool.
Yeah.
A totally different situation. I understand that. And it's like more of an outlier, but like it is cool that way to be able to continue to offer autographs of players after they're no longer
Pele, I think.
Yeah.
I think Pele was a sticker auto.
He is. And that's pretty cool that you can still get guys after they've passed. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like if nothing changes, that it won't be a big deal. But I will say, if Fanatics is successful in getting, if any company could get on-card autographs and release the majority that way, that could change. And yes, I think you would be right. So I kind
And
of played both sides on that.
a little bit. I'll take a half win.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that. A half win. So there's the whole win for you.
Yeah, nice. It's a one win.
It's also a whole loss, but yeah.
Let's not talk about that. I will say too, with the sticker auto thing, that really bothers me is the players, even active players, how they sign sticker autos. Like Adrian Peterson has one of the worst sticker auto signatures. He is all over the
the
board with it.
Bad.
Like if you're going to do sticker autos, at least make them look good. And EP, they have done a better job of placing them. But I saw Luminance. I think I sent you guys the picture. It's like just someone just took a sticker and just threw it at the card. It would just look so bad and out of place. And so for me, I like it. I prefer it. But I'm with you, Mike. If nothing changes, if Fanatics doesn't do something with more on-card autos and have sticker autos and low-end products, and then the on-card stuff, like National Treasure should not have sticker autos. I'll just leave it.
I agree.
That's absolutely ridiculous. So, well, hey, I appreciate you half agreeing with me, both of you, and I think this was fun. I don't know. I'll kick it back over to the host to close this out. But
this is your show. You can wrap it up.
This is my show.
Go ahead, wrap it up.
All right. We'll see you next week.
See you guys
later.